Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tejasvi. I'm a pastry chef as well as a chocolate maker. Now you must be wondering, why am I not in my studio kitchen? Well, there's a lockdown here in my city, and so I decided to make a video at home today where I will be bursting a few baking myths for you guys. Let's get started, all 5,000 of us. Thank you for subscribing. Now let's not waste any more time. Come on. Myth number 1. Overbeating your cake batter. Now, I have noticed a lot of times, I'm also somebody who teaches people how to bake and how to make chocolates. So in my workshops, I've noticed one thing, that I see a lot of my students end up overbeating their cake batters. And I always tell everyone that by overbeating your cake batter, you're not actually making it fluffy. In fact, it is the absolute opposite of that. You will end up making your cake sponge a lot more denser. So once you see that all the dry ingredients have disappeared from the cake batter, that is it. Take a spatula, run it by the bowl once, and that is it, guys. Just stop right there. Know when to stop beating your cake batter. Myth number 2, cut and fold method. Now, I know that a lot of people and a lot of bakers have shown it on national television, etc., that you must apply a cut and fold method. Cut and fold method does not apply to each and every sponge cake recipe, guys. Please make sure that you know this. They say that if you cut and fold your cake batter, you're incorporating more air in it. Yes, that is true, but that's not true for every cake batter. For example, if you're making a simple vanilla cake sponge, you don't need to cut and fold it. You just need to simply mix all your dry ingredients in with a whisk, and then just right at the end, take a spatula and run it by the sides of the bowl to ensure all the dry ingredients have incorporated. Now, if you do this step gently, that's all that you need to do. However, I apply the cut and fold method if I am making a sponge using egg whites in it. So when I inflate my egg whites, or I make a French meringue and I'm trying to incorporate that into a cake batter, well, that is when I do the cut and fold method, so that I don't end up deflating the eggs that I have done all the mehnat to inflate. Alright? Myth number 3. Sugar bloom and fat bloom in chocolate. Well, a lot of people think that white residue or that grayish residue that comes on the surface of the chocolate means that the chocolate has gotten spoiled, or it's got fungus, or God knows what not. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that your chocolate is not spoiled. What has happened is due to the difference in temperature that it's been stored at. The cocoa butter or the sugar from the chocolate kind of comes up to the surface and starts showing its residue in that grayish whitish color. All you need to do is melt your chocolate. You can re-temper it and use it again. If you don't want to temper it, you can literally just melt it and use your chocolate. It'll be absolutely fine. Nothing is going to happen to it. If you're baking with it, you can just add a few chunks or a few chips to your cake batter and bake it. It's going to be absolutely fine. There is no problem with your chocolate. All that it ends up doing sometimes is it changes the texture of the chocolate. But again, that does not mean that your chocolate is spoiled. Remember that. Myth number 4. Melting your butter or softening your butter in a microwave. Vis-a-vis using the old-fashioned method of just taking out your slab of butter and keeping it out at room temperature on your kitchen countertop. Well, let me tell you one thing. When you melt your butter in a microwave, you can end up melting it, and a lot of recipes require you to just use soft butter. Unless a recipe says that yes, melt your butter, then it's fine. But if it says that you need to use soft butter, please just do it the old-fashioned way, and I promise you, you will never be disappointed with the texture of your cake. It is imperative that you don't soften butter in a microwave. Myth number 5. Can you all guess what that is? Well, it is that baking powder has a shelf life of, God knows, 1,500 years. Well, it doesn't. If you store your baking powder properly, yes, it'll last you for a long time, and you can check the label at the back to see when it expires. That is very, very important with all your ingredients, all your products, and I know you already know that. But if it is stored in an environment that's slightly humid, it can tend to get spoiled a little earlier than the actual expiry date. So please be careful of that. However, Baking soda, on the other hand, has a much longer shelf life, much longer shelf life. I will tell you all the difference between baking powder and baking soda as well. Baking soda is soda bicarbonate and is used a lot in eggless baking, and it activates once it comes in contact with anything acidic. Now, I use it a lot when I'm making anything eggless. They are both rising agents, and what tends to happen with both of them is that the reaction is slightly different. Baking powder, on the other hand, has soda bicarbonate, cream of tartar and corn flour, which gives baking powder a little more stability. Now, what does this mean? It means that when you're making any cake or you're putting baking soda in any of your cake batters, as soon as it comes in contact with something acidic, for example, curd or vinegar, what will happen is that it will start to react immediately. So you need to quickly make your batter, put it in the tin and bung it in the oven to bake, okay? Because the second reaction of the baking of the soda bicarbonate will happen in the oven. However, on the other hand, with baking powder, it's slightly different. Because it has cream of tartar and it has corn flour in it, what tends to happen is that it gives you the same reaction but in three phases. The first phase is when it comes in contact with all the other ingredients in your cake batter. The second one happens as soon as you bung it in the oven, and the third one happens while it's baking. So it continues to rise but in phases. So you need to just be careful of the fact that when you're storing both baking powder and baking soda, make sure that you're not storing it at a place that is humid or has a lot of moisture. Myth number 6. Now, this is something that I have noticed a lot of people asking me, that chef, why does my cake start to crack once it goes into the oven, or after it's baked it always gets this little crack on top? First of all, it's imperative to know that that does not mean that you've not made the perfect cake batter. All it means is that when you were preheating your oven, you preheated it for longer. So with that heat in the oven, as soon as the cake batter goes inside the oven and comes in contact with that excess heat, the air trapped inside of the cake is trying to find a passage to come out. And what tends to happen then is it leaves a crack to come out of the cake. So your cake has a crack on top. Now, if you're making a layered cake, it's absolutely fine. You can just trim it off from top and add your buttercream frosting or any other frosting and just layer up the cake, and nobody will ever know. And nobody's ever going to give you points for that. But if you're making a sponge cake, yes, of course, just be a little careful and don't over preheat your oven. You should ideally be preheating your oven for 5 to 10 minutes max. Alright, now with that we've come to the end of this video, and I am supremely happy and thankful to each one of you that is subscribed to my channel. And for those of you that are going to be watching this for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back soon with yet another video. Well, on a side note, for those of you that have subscribed to my channel and have been following it for a very long time, and have been writing to me wondering why I have not released another video in such a long time, that's because I was shooting for my show, The Baker's Table, which aired on a channel called Z-Zest, and I made 48 recipes for that show. So yes, me being human as well, I needed a bit of a break. And then when I came back, we went into a lockdown, and I have not had the opportunity to go to Cut Chocolate Cake, my studio kitchen, very often to make another video, but I will go back very soon. But until then, I'm going to keep you guys hooked on to my channel by giving you good tips, tricks, hacks on baking. We're going to talk endlessly about a lot of topics that I feel are very important to cover. For example, flavor pairings or chocolate or tempering, etc, etc. We will cover all of that in the channel on this new series that I'm going to name something. I don't know what it is right now. I will decide that while I'm editing this video. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned and stay safe.